Hello, I'm FX Toycat, and according to Notch in a now deleted blog post, every single character and animal in Minecraft is homosexual. Have you ever wondered why cows have both horns and udders, or why any two chickens can breed even when the two babies come from the same parent chickens? Today I wanted to dive into the weird world of how Minecraft, a game of course founded by Notch, who is best known for his controversial opinions these days, was actually a game which was at the very forefront of a giant debate about how gender should work in games, and then later even the world of progressive politics when it comes to businesses and video game development companies. However, today I wanted to start with just the fact that Steve was never meant to be the name of the Minecraft character. He was never meant to be a guy, and there's a whole ton of details to do with that. But first, let me know if you like this video, and indeed, if you want to see more of these, please do subscribe with notifications turned on so you can see more of these videos daily on your homepage. With that said, we're going to go back to the very earliest messages we have regarding gender in Minecraft, because it was always meant to be super ambiguous, but eventually Notch decided he had to address something which was true, which was that increasingly Steve was becoming the name of the Minecraft character. Even though it was, as he confirms right here, just a joking answer he gave to the answer to what is the Minecraft guy actually called, it was never what his name was meant to be, but he just accepted that the community latched onto it, and if enough people call something a name, then that name eventually sticks. That is the very nature of names in the world that we live in, and so he said that the human model is intended to represent a human being, not a male human being or a female human being, but simply a human being. The blocky shape gives it a bit of a traditional masculine look, but adding a separate female mesh would just make it worse by having one specific model for female human beings and one for male ones. That would force players to make decisions about gender in a game where gender doesn't even exist, confirming that in Minecraft there is no gender, even doubling down on that stance by saying all of the other mobs in the game are genderless and usually exhibit the most prominent traits of both genders. Cows have horns and udders, even if I've later learned there are some cows where females do in fact have horns, and the chickens slash ducks slash whatevers have heads that look like roosters but still lay eggs. For breeding, any animal can breed of any other animal of the same species, effectively making all of the animals agender, or in other words, genderless, perhaps you could say. Obviously, I'm not saying this is a good way to deal with gender in all games, as the better your graphics are, and because of how quickly the human mind tries to identify the gender of other humans, you are going to have to make a decision as a developer about gender, but I felt we could get away with it in Minecraft. There is no point to this post, I just wanted to clarify so there's an official word on it. Also, as a fun side fact, it means every character and animal in Minecraft is homosexual because there's only one gender to choose from. Take that, homophobes. And this to me is one of the most interesting lines to come out of someone who supposedly, if you are to believe just the headlines of all these various sites, is one of the most transphobic and right-wing bigoted people. Why is he super pro everyone being gay inside the game that he's made? Why is it not a traditional Christian game where to breed any of the animals, you don't just need to have a bed and some food, you should be out, there should be like a wedding ceremony going, like obviously, I think that's an important thing to come back to later, but it's also important to confirm that in this very blog post, he did in fact say very clearly that adding a female mesh to Minecraft would make it significantly worse, and his opinion actually makes some sense, right? By having a separate female character, you are forcing people to choose a gender, whereas you can much better just get away by saying there is no gender in this game. The whole goal of Minecraft was that this real world concept of gender didn't need to exist. I mean, look at this cow. Do you really need to care if he's a male or a female cow? Or maybe if it's a genderless cow? You probably shouldn't, so why do you need to care about the player? It was an interesting view, at least at the time, and it's funny because his view was very strongly we should not have a female character in Minecraft, which is why it's so interesting that when you look at the time that Alex was added to Minecraft, it was the exact same month that Microsoft bought the Minecraft maker Mojang for $2.5 billion, and I'm just saying, it seems as though Notch was very strongly against having the gendered characters in Minecraft, and maybe as soon as a big corporation gets involved, it seems as though that changes. And the weird thing about this though is the fact that we always had gendered skins in Minecraft if you wanted to choose them, and obviously the Steve was the default skin and it was a male skin, but if you actually look into Minecraft and the years between 2009 when it released and 2014 when they added the Alex skin, there were all sorts of skin options you could add. Either you could pick your own skin and you could have a female character. Everyone knows the one female skin you see on every single Minecraft server all of the time. I don't know why it's so popular, but I guess I'm not a teenager playing on Minecraft servers. But then on top of that, obviously with the console edition and with any other edition of the game, you were also able to buy skins like this Princess Peach skin for the Wii U edition. Obviously that right there is a very much gendered skin. I'm pretty sure Princess Peach is a woman based on the princess term being gendered, but also you could buy this Marge Simpson model. It's not as explicitly gendered. I mean, the much more interesting thing about this skin is just how tall it is by comparison to the normal ones. Minecraft Console Edition was a really wacky game because it was a closed ecosystem. They could do all sorts of weird things like the Gas skin or the R2-D2 skin. but that's a point for another time. The fact is, there always were gendered skins in Minecraft before this point. This was just a really easy initiative to say that no, we don't force you to be a male in this game. There's no default male assumption. Instead, it's about giving you choices so you can have a woman's skin default as well as a male skin default. That's right, gender equality in Minecraft. I would say, maybe slightly cynically, that this didn't actually add anything to the game because the overwhelming majority of people who care about what their skin looks like aren't going to use the Alex or the Steve skin anyway, right? Most people who care about what they look like are going to download one of those weird skins from Hypixel, or they're going to pay for the Lisa Simpson skin or for the whatever number of different skins that were available. They're going to actually do something to customize their character that goes beyond just clicking one of those options. I actually think that this is true to this day, that this is one of those points about corporate messaging, that it doesn't matter about the actual point you're mentioning, it matters about the PR of it all. I mean, the fact that Microsoft has done a pretty good job managing Minecraft, make it a wholesome game, whereas Notch, as just an individual, has gone from one of the most beloved men who made one of the games that we all love to being someone who people genuinely like to believe did not make Minecraft, and maybe like to believe doesn't exist, right? That's a fascinating world that we can go from one of those things to the other, but I think what this really shows is it shows something fascinating about American companies, which is that they effectively have to pick a political side to some sense. Minecraft is a progressive company. Here is Minecraft supporting Pride. Here is Minecraft supporting Black Lives Matter. These are all stances which are inherently political, and as a business, Minecraft is getting involved in those things. The position you could take if you were thinking of corporations as being a separate entity to the political process is that corporations should sell products and allocate resources and ideally employ people to make those products and make those resource allocation decisions, and that people, as the base of democracy, should be the ones deciding. But in the last few decades, more and more companies have started to realize that you can do a much better job at selling to people if they think that you're on their side. And one of the most deeply ingrained points inside of us is not necessarily the politics themselves, but it's the values that underline those politics. When you see a company that has your values, for some reason it makes you more likely to buy from them, in the same way that we have more trust of people who are more similar to us, and at least this very weird thing where, again, you can get your left-wing ice cream or you can get your right-wing ice cream. I learned about, just while researching this video, a brand called Star Spangled Ice Cream who have flavors such as small guava mint, and my favorite, I cannot get over how beautiful this is, I hate the French vanilla. And yeah, you can. There's all sorts of companies that market to both sides of the political spectrum. And my initial opinion on all of this was just like, yeah, well that's weird. We should be buying products that are based on being good products, not based on political stances that very big behemoth companies have that clearly they're not having authentically. They're having for the purposes of promotion. But on the other hand, it's what we want. And Minecraft has cleverly worked out that actually, with the demographics of Minecraft, it is significantly smarter to go down the one side of the political spectrum than the other. I mean, I'm just saying there is an age correlation with certain political positions, and so there is some grand point we can make when it comes to the politics side of this and be like, oh yeah, so the reason that Not went from being on the exact pro side of like women and gender inclusivity and all those things to being on the opposite side in just 10 years is because actually the political spectrum is the thing that changes. It's not you as a person. You don't get more conservative as you age. It's actually just the political spectrum changes around you. The definition of what is progressive or woke or whatever different word you want to use is something that is changing all the time, and that's why as people age, they slowly start to be as enthralled by the radical, crazy positions of burn down the establishment and build a new one. There's a very interesting point there, but I wanted to finish this video talking about gender in Minecraft, because by adding Alex to the game, although they made a great move that I'm sure excited women everywhere, it might even be this great decision that makes people go, wow, if I can be a Minecraft character, I can be anything. That is entirely possible, that's true, but by doing that, they've set the precedent that although every single animal in Minecraft is agender, the humanoid characters are not. And where does humanoids start and end? I'd argue that zombies are definitely humans. There are no woman zombies. If you look at the zombie skin, it's so clearly based on Steve. There is no zombie skin based on Alex. Seriously, there is, you can get baby zombies and baby zombies riding chickens and baby zombies riding chickens with diamond armor on, but you cannot find a zombie that looks like Alex, because Alex will never be bitten by a zombie and become infected. It seems, it also means that when you look at, for instance, zombie pig men, obviously the word men and man don't always mean, male or whatever you want to make that link with, or the gender of man. It can mean human. That's where the basis for a lot of like putting a man on the moon means, you know, you wouldn't call it putting a woman on the moon, or you might call it that, or you might think that mankind actually just refers to men. We can have debates about this all day, but this is a Minecraft video, so can we just go to the catchy point that, like, okay, so zombie pig man, or piglins as they're now referred to, are entirely men. The villagers are the weirdest example though, because villagers, as you can see quite clearly, in a world where we're not meant to say that there's no gender in Minecraft, and it's all what you want, man. No, there is gender in Minecraft, it is explicit, they have put it in there. Now, all of the villagers in Minecraft very clearly present man. I'm not going to assume what that means about their biological parts. It could be that it's actually a village of 50% men and 50% trans men, of course, that is entirely possible. However, if we judge it from the fact that from birth they all look exactly the same and they all look like men, therefore we can pretty reasonably assume that the villagers have one of the weirdest reproduction systems in the world, because all of them are men. Again, there is gender in Minecraft, it is very explicit, it is a very progressive view, but there is no women villagers, and yet they can still reproduce. All they need is food and a bed, and they can magically make babies come out. And on the one hand, it's pretty crazy that Minecraft makes the bold step into the world of homosexual reproduction. On the other hand, what I think is interesting is the fact that by adding gender to Minecraft in this one specific place, they've accidentally made a whole minefield of other continuity errors that in reality come down to this question of, like, does the main character really matter? In my humble opinion, I actually think the answer is no. I think that the way people actually look at the Alex and Steve skin, which is meant to represent what, like, man and woman as a baseline for which you put your skin on top of, people actually just see it as one skin, or one skin with slightly smaller legs and arms that you build your own thing on top of. Do you want to be a genderless green blob? Or, you know, let's be honest, so that we're less controversial, do you want to be a genderless orange blob? Wow, that skin is available for free if you go to the Toycat Let's Play world on the marketplace, did you know? But do you want to be a genderless orange blob? You totally can. I think that the beauty in Minecraft is in when you give the players the power to make their own decisions, when you give the players the power to do whatever they want. I think the true objective of a sandbox game should not be that, yes, we have all of these opinions and you need to have these opinions too because we worked out that's good for marketing. I think the goal behind a sandbox game like this one should be that we don't throw messages, heavy-handed messages, onto the player, and instead, as the player base, we can work out what they want. I mean, think about it this way. As an example, the way the frogs work in the new update is that you can breed any two frogs of the same gender together, which means that Minecraft literally made the frogs gay, or did they? That's the question I'm going to be leaving with you as the ending to this video. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I found it to be fun. I'm sure it will be non-controversial in those comments. I just want to also clarify that I'm not going to rely on you agreeing with my political positions, whatever they are. I don't think they're relevant to Minecraft to enjoy these videos. I think it's more important that you decide what you like based on the quality and the attributes of that thing, rather than based on whether I vote for the same politicians as you. Because as a fun fact, statistically, I don't live in the same country as all of you, and so I cannot vote on your politicians because I don't live there. That's something everyone forgets on the internet. We all talk about American politics and this and that and the other, but like it's not my decision to make, right? Like I don't have a horse in the race because it's not my politicians and it's not my country. But that's a controversial opinion, so thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.